Are the American people fit to govern themselves, to rule themselves, to control them? I believe they are.
Let me assert my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. There is the love of God. And if you have any doubt concerning the love of God, look at the cross.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
And I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.
We establish no religion in this country, nor will we ever. We command no worship. We mandate no belief. But we poison our society when we remove its theological underpinnings. We court corruption when we leave it bereft of belief.
And welcome in to another edition of American Heritage Live. I'm your host, Jeff DeShazo. Our co-host Ron Meyer is out this week speaking, and he'll be enjoying that very much. We're going to miss him. And our astute and expert, of course, I forgot to throw in the word expert, Daniel Connors to my left, running the board in his esteemed black shirt, looking very dapper. Well, I want to introduce to you a very special guest, but before I do, we always want to thank our sponsors, and then they are Jim King of Hedges and Highways Ministry, Brad Phillips and Homewood Auto Body Specialist, Jason Ingram with USA Title of Alabama. But without further ado, we want to bring in one of our favorite political analysts for the show, Dr. Larry Powell. He's Professor of Communication Studies at UAB, an expert on political communications and political ads and polling. He's well known throughout the greater Alabama area, appearing on radio and television regularly, and one of our favorites. Dr. Larry, are you there?
Very much so. Glad to be here.
Oh, fantastic. Hope you had a good Father's Day, by the way.
Yes, I did. I went and saw my father, and we spent some time together.
Oh, excellent, excellent. And good eats? Did you have good eats?
Oh, yes. The food is part of the holiday.
Well, we did a little bit too much, and but that's all part of it. Well, as I mentioned off air, Larry, I wanted to get into, we've got some catching up to do. The last time we spoke, there were many candidates who hadn't declared yet for both parties, both Democrat and Republican, on the presidential race for 2016. If you don't mind, let's do this. Let's start with the Democratic Party, and we'll kind of go in alphabetical order. We'll just focus on the declared candidates, but let's get your thought kind of rapid fire on these. We'll start in alphabetical. Now, I am going to mention this one. He is undeclared, but there is some suspicion that he'll run, and that's Vice President Joe Biden. I want to get your thoughts on the likelihood of Vice President Biden jumping in.
I think that's a wait and see. I don't think he was planning to run, but there are a number of people in the Democratic Party who are disappointed with Hillary Clinton's campaign so far, and they're looking for an alternative, and he would be a good alternative if that situation develops. She's got so much money, it's going to be hard to stop her momentum unless there's a big group of people behind him. And I think that's what he's waiting to see.
Right. Okay. So he's got his committee maybe looking at advisors, kind of taking some analyzed looks. So, okay, well, we'll come back to Vice President Biden. We're going to go right into Governor of Rhode Island, Lincoln Chafee. He's declared. Your thoughts on his campaign?
He's a declared candidate, and he's not going to get much beyond that.
Short and sweet. Short and sweet on Lincoln Chafee. Is it Chafee or Chaffee, by the way?
It is officially Chafee, but
yeah.
When you're from up there, nobody's ever sure.
That's right. Governor of Rhode Island. They do pronounce things a little differently up
right
there in Rhode Island. That's right. And all right, well, let's go to the probably one of the most controversial candidates, I think, on the Democratic ledger side. That's former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. As you know, she's one of the figures. I think people either love her or hate her. She's just that polarizing. But how is she doing in her campaign?
Well, she's doing okay in the Democratic primary among Democratic voters. They mainly love her.
Sure.
But she's had some missteps.
Right.
And that scares some Democrats. She is obviously not as good of a campaigner as her husband, and probably never will be. She can't quite deliver a speech. She is almost good at delivering a speech, but her announcement speech was very well written and poorly delivered. And it was obvious even to those people who only saw portions of it. But she's still got a lot of support. She's got a lot of money. She's getting even more money. And it's the only thing that bothers the Democrats is the fact that she has stumbled so badly out of the gate. And whether or not that is a fatal blow remains to be seen.
Right. I think a lot of folks think I think conventional wisdom, and she's a shoo-in for the nomination, but as you say, she's taken some missteps. I wanted to get you to comment on this. I couldn't help but notice there was a lot of lag time before she allowed press conferences and speaking to the press directly. The first time I was able to observe her, and this is what I wanted to get you to comment on, was let's go back a bit on her press conference on the email issue, where the confiscation of emails, the server. I thought it was a little, it was kind of like a little bit of the Twilight Zone. I couldn't help but notice her eye contact was extreme right looking toward the ceiling and extreme left looking toward the ceiling, but she was not making eye contact with the reporters or the cameras. It was rather bizarre, and it was just, I thought, this is not going well for her, and that was one of the first appearances I remember in front of the press corps. Do you remember that, what your thoughts were as you observed that? Did you get to see it?
Yeah, she was obviously frustrated with the questions, and she keeps getting them, even though she's hoping she can put the issue behind her. But it's going to be really hard to put behind her. And if you're a presidential candidate, you got to be ready to handle those questions. And she wasn't ready, and she's still not fully addressed that, and may not. But she's going to have to seem as if she's willing to handle it, and going from there. She's just not comfortable on the topic.
Yeah,
and it really shows up.
Right. I agree with your assessment, saying a little differently. Her husband had the it factor as far as being able to communicate. I think he's known to have a photographic memory, Rhodes Scholar, all of those things. He can chew through facts like it's amazing and just recall them at will. But Hillary just does not seem to have that think-on-your-feet ability to access information, to amalgamate things in her mind and bring them out in front of the podium as her husband did. And I think there's just a light years difference between the two individuals as far as candidates. Your thoughts on that? Yeah, let's go to this. Let me check. I think we lost our signal with Larry Powell. We'll take a break, and then we'll come back and reconnect with Dr. Larry Powell, Professor of Communication Studies and expert on political communications with UAB. We'll be right back after this. Hi, everybody. This is Jeff DeShazo, host of American Heritage Live. I'd like to tell you about my real estate business with Keller Williams Realty. For the past 17 years, I have been serving the greater Birmingham area. When it comes to life's experiences, few areas give more satisfaction than owning your own home. This is a part of the American dream. Perhaps you own a home and would like a free comparative market analysis before you list it to sell. Or you may need to downsize, or need a larger home. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or considering buying a second home for your family vacations, whatever your needs are, I invite you to call me today at 205-223-7653, or you can visit my website at jeffdeshazo.com. That's Jeff, DESHAZO.com, and there you can request free listing alerts for any houses you like to be sent to you. I'd also like to send you my free mobile phone app for your smartphone, where you can search for houses over your phone. Please call me today at 205-223-SOLD. That's 205-223-7653. 223-7653. And together, we'll make real estate your estate. Jim King is a concerned American and one of our sponsors and friends here on American Heritage Live. Jim is on the board of the Hedges and Highways Prison Ministry. They provide adults and teens leaving prison with assistance in these areas: counseling, support groups, assistance in finding housing and employment, food and clothing and education. Right now, they're raising funds for gift bags, which includes items not provided in prisons. These items include toothpaste, washcloth, shaving cream, soap, and shampoo. It is amazing how many are in prison without any connection to family or friends. These gift bags will lift their spirits and allow them to feel support from a ministry that will help them once they get out. Hedges and Highways is a 501c3 organization, so all contributions are tax deductible. At the moment, their goal is to raise $20,000 for the gift bags, and they need your help. Please make checks payable to Hedges and Highways Prison Ministry, P.O. Box 112075, Birmingham, Alabama 35211. Or call Director Lois Gardner for more information. That number is 205-516-5634. 205-516-5634. Please call them today. And welcome back into American Heritage Live, where we're discussing the present political race, presidential race specifically for 2016, with Dr. Larry Powell, professor of communication studies at UAB and expert on political communications, political ads, and pollings. He's an author of many books, over 8, as I recall. Dr. Larry, are you with us?
I'm still with you.
Good. I'm glad you're still with us. Not sure what happened before the break, but the main thing is you are with us. And we'll just take up where we left off. Larry, we were talking about former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton's campaign, and the question I had to you was just the difference, I think, between the two candidates. Former President Bill Clinton, very successful candidate both times for the presidential race, 2-term governor. We were discussing the it factor, being able to recall information, a photographic memory, the communication skills, the people skills, the camera skills in front of the microphone and the press corps. But contrasting that with present candidate Hillary Clinton, just doesn't seem to have kind of the it factor there.
No, but now she's always going to come up short on that comparison, as will most other Democratic candidates. There are just not that many people who are as good at campaigning as Bill Clinton was.
Sure.
And it's more apparent on her because they're related, husband and wife. But it's going to be a problem that any Democratic candidate this go-around is going to face.
Okay, well, that's a fair point. I think that's a very balanced observation. I'm going to, well, let me go ahead. I promised to go down the line. Governor of Maryland, Martin O'Malley, has declared. Your thoughts on his candidacy?
There are people in Maryland who are hoping that he will get the vice presidential nomination. And my guess is that that is the ultimate goal. I don't think he's a viable candidate long term.
Right.
But if he could be on the VP ticket portion of it, I think he would be happy.
Okay. And
I don't think, by the way, I don't think he will get it.
Yeah. Oh, you don't think he'll get the VP pick?
I do not think he will get the VP pick.
Okay.
No.
Okay. I guess it's a little early then to prognosticate who might get the VP pick on the Democratic side.
Well, I think part of that is going to depend on who they think is going to be the Republican nominee and who the Republican VP pick.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's somebody like Marco Rubio, say, on the Republican side, who's going to be on the ballot one way or the other, they might want to go with Julian Castro out of Texas in order to appeal to the Hispanics.
Interesting. So rather strategic there. Chess match
Yes,
on that.
and I don't think Martin O'Malley is strategic enough.
Okay. And lastly, I think one of the more interesting candidates on the Democratic side, compared with former Secretary of State and Senator Hillary Clinton, and that's Senator Bernie Sanders. He's a self-described Democratic socialist, I think is the term he uses. He's declared and intriguing. What are your thoughts on Bernie Sanders?
You could delete Democrat from the description there and be more accurate. He's mostly a socialist.
Okay.
And that's going to be too far to the left even for Democrats. And he's he's going to push Hillary to the left.
Interesting.
But he's not going to be able to control enough of the left to actually win.
So kind of a catalyst for Hillary, you think?
Yes.
Yeah, as far as...
And I think he will be satisfied with that.
Okay. Yeah, there are some... Seems to be, historically, there are candidates who are instrumental in knowing their roles to play the part of a catalyst and shapers and focusers, for lack of a better term. Okay, well, let's shift gears and go into the Republican roster. I wanted to get your comments on I'm just focusing on the declared candidates because there's so many. As you know, it's quite a forest of candidates now, undeclared and candidates.
Actually, I could say that I do not plan to be a candidate for the Republican nomination, and that makes me one of the rare people in the United States right now.
Okay, that's right. I think we've got a few dozen now, and I'm not. Let me just let ladies and gentlemen know that I will not be declaring either to run for the presidential race for 2016.
Hey, two major announcements there back to back.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. All right, well, let's start alphabetically as we promised, and that's former Governor Jeb Bush. He's declared it's been quite a while since we've spoken to you. We have a lot of new candidates in the fray. Governor Jeb Bush, your thoughts on another Bush running and his candidacy?
Well, he has wanted to be the Republican frontrunner. He was hoping by this time that he would be the establishment candidate. And that he would have so much money that it would frighten other Republicans. He does have a lot of money, and it's frightening other Republicans, but he has stumbled out of the gate also. And it's kept him from being the candidate of inevitability that he was hoping to be. And he'll have to recover. Now, he's really rusty as a campaigner, and you can see that at times. But he's still probably the Republican with the best chance of winning the general election.
Right, and there seems to be three groupings, as some feel to think, and you've already said it. I think that Governor Jeb Bush seems to be one of the more establishment candidates for the Republican Party. Correct?
Correct.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go to an increasingly interesting candidate to me personally, and that is Ben Carson, who is the outside of the Beltway, outside of the Potomac River. That's Ben Carson. He's well known in the private community, business community, on several corporate boards. Is well known in the business community, but he is a lightning rod among the conservatives. Your thoughts on Ben Carson getting any traction? Seems to be doing well in the polls.
He has started off very well, but I don't expect him to have any long-term traction. He just doesn't fit the typical Republican idea of what a candidate should be. He might have potential as a vice presidential selection because that would create some problems for the Democrats. But I don't see him being a viable candidate at all for the nomination. I would put him down at the bottom of the list among those people who are most likely to drop out first.
Okay. All right. No, I guess no chance of maybe surprising the status quo and hanging in there a bit longer?
Well, he could always surprise and hang in there, but you're going to have Jeb Bush as the establishment candidate. Mm-hmm. You're going to have a number of people who are going to be representing the conservative side of the party.
Sure.
And among that group of conservatives, there are going to be those who are going to be competitive and those who won't be competitive. I do not expect him to be competitive.
Okay. All right, that's very fair. I do have a follow-up question on Ben Carson. Let me ask you this. Do you think he'll get the same sort of treatment as Herman Cain did among the liberal Democrats who may see him as a threat and just try to marginalize him?
Could be, because he is a threat to them, and particularly if he were to be on the ballot in any manner.
Mm-hmm.
But I think right now that they would really like to have a really truly conservative candidate as the Republican nominee, and they will be more focused on trying to keep Jeb Bush from getting it.
Okay, very good. Focusing, all the resources on the primary candidates.
Yes.
Well, let's go to Senator Ted Cruz, darling of the Tea Party. How is he doing in the campaign? Your thoughts on his traction?
That's a good question, and it's not an easy one to answer. Ted Cruz is an extremely smart guy.
Good debater, as I understand it.
He is a past debater. He understands the political marketplace very well. He knows how to tap into it very well, and yet ultimately he is too far right to actually have a chance of winning in the general election. Now, the question becomes, to what extent does that hurt him? And right now, it's hurting him pretty bad, and he's getting hurt from two sides. One is the fact that there are people who don't believe that he can win, and the other is that he is so conservative that he's competing against a bunch of other conservatives and not yet winning that. Now, if they get to the debates and he makes one of the top 10 who qualify for he could be a problem. He could win. He could do something that could be successful.
Sure. As you know, there's a side story right now because the Cruz campaign has returned money to the head of an organization linked to the suspected gunman in last week's Charleston church shooting. The head of the Council of Conservative Citizens, Earl Holt III, donated to him and a couple of other candidates. I think they total amount to about $8,500 since 2012. But interesting, he returned it. He also contributed to Senator Rand Paul and Senator Rick Santorum, too.
Right, and I'm sure you'll find that all of that money is going to disappear from those campaign accounts. But ultimately, who's going to be the conservative voice? And the conservative side of the party has been trying really hard this time to pick one candidate so that they don't fragment themselves like they did against Mitt Romney and against John McCain.
Yeah, I see.
And if you're looking for who that unified voice is going to be, we don't really know yet, but it's probably not going to be Ted Cruz.
Well, we've got a few more to hit. Can you hold on for another segment there, Larry? Well, let's do that. We lost Larry temporarily, and when we come back, we'll have Larry for one more segment here on American Heritage Live right after the break.
Now I'm found in line. There's nowhere else to run. Keep my life within my secret. Oh God, there's nowhere to your love. There's nowhere to your life. You're with us. You're with us. There's nothing in this.
Hi, this is David Barton. You're listening to American Heritage Live with Jeff DeShazo and Ron Meyer.
Friends, have you been in a car accident recently and need to get some body work done, or do you need a new paint job for that favorite car? Then write this down. Homewood Auto Body Specialist. That's where you need to go. They are locally owned and have been in business for over 23 years. Brad Phillips is the owner and Hubert Underwood is the manager. Most of the staff have been with Brad for over 20 years. Homewood Auto Body Specialists are located at 96 Robert Jemison Road in Homewood. A member of the Better Business Bureau, they service foreign and domestic cars and are ICAR and ASE certified. And yes, they'll provide free estimates. Their equipment is state-of-the-art to handle all of your collision-related work, and the staff trains constantly to stay up to date with all the latest techniques. All services are guaranteed as long as you own your car. They are a direct repair facility and do business with most all insurance companies. They're open Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. Call them today at 205-941-2410. 205-941-2410. That's Homewood Auto Body Specialists.
Savior, I come, I quiet my soul.
And welcome back into American Heritage Live. I'm your host, Jeff DeShazo. Ron Meyer, our beloved co-host, is out this week. But a very special guest is with us for the remainder of this segment, and that is Larry Powell. Dr. Larry Powell, as he's known belovedly there at UAB. He's the professor of communication studies, expert on political communications, author of many books, 8 and counting. He's an expert on political ads and polling, so obviously we'd like Larry on our show as one of our favorite political analysts. Larry, you back with us for our third segment?
Yes, I am.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, we were wrapping up about Ted Cruz. Let's shift gears and go to, I think, what could be one of the focal points, I think, as far as the business community on the Republican side, and that's former President, Chairman, and CEO of Hewlett-Packard, Carly Fiorina. I'd like to get your thoughts on how she's doing in her entry and declaring for the presidential race.
She's an excellent speaker. She's doing very well on the campaign trail, but ultimately she got fired from HP,
right.
And that's not going to play well.
Yeah, she did, and to be honest, I don't know why she got fired. She did. Her numbers seem to be good. It's never good to get fired. But nevertheless, she's in it. She doesn't seem to shy away from a challenge. I think she wants to draw Hillary out and make it about 2 women.
Oh, that would obviously be to her advantage. There will be too many questions that are going to come up about how she lost her job there, and it's not going to play well with her. And I just don't see her doing very well.
All right, well, let's move on to, I think, another controversial character in that he seems to take jabs continually, along with Senator McCain, and that's Senator Lindsey Graham. He is becoming the kind of the thorn in the side, I think, on the Sunday morning talk shows to President Obama's current administration. How is Lindsey Graham doing, and the likelihood of him getting traction, do you think?
A good question, but he's not getting traction so much, but he is getting a lot of face time, and there's the potential that he could. And we got to wait and see. He's got some problems. For one thing, although he's presenting himself as a conservative and so forth, he has historically been a Republican moderate, more so than the current idea of a Republican conservative. He has been conservative, no doubt about that. He just hasn't been as conservative as some of the other candidates in the race. And second, of course, he's not married. The idea that he's going to have rotating first ladies is kind of strange. I don't know how that's going to fit with the idea of an American public that is used to seeing their politicians pictured with their wives and children and so forth.
Well, you're quite correct, and you're right. I think your average family would like to see a married presidential candidate. So, and quite frankly, that wouldn't caught me off guard, because I think I've been focusing more on his foreign policy statements than I have his personal life. And that's very interesting. I think you're quite correct. I don't think that's going to play well. Let's shift gears to former governor of Arkansas, Mike Huckabee. Gotten his own show, did very well in the ratings. It never hurts to have your own show. Of course, some feel that could hurt him because of so much FaceTime and archive footage on him. Your thoughts on Governor Mike Huckabee?
He has said a lot of things on those TV shows that will come back to haunt him. And I think he's just simply missed his shot. If he'd wanted to have run 4 years ago, I think he would have had a better chance than now. I think the process has passed him by. And I do not expect him to be a viable candidate in this primary.
And another repeat. Presidential candidate, Governor Rick Perry, wants to give another go. He and Mitt Romney used to joust a bit, didn't like each other, seemed to go at each other. But what do you think of Rick Perry's chances this time?
His memory's gotten better, but so has the public, and they're going to remember all those things that he forgot last go around.
Yeah, that was. I think we all felt embarrassed for him. Not everybody's good behind a microphone in a debate, and just not one of his better moments. All right, a couple more to round it out. Senator Marco Rubio, whom you mentioned before, you seem to put him in the likely candidate box. Your thoughts on Rubio?
I think he's got a shot to win.
All right, why is that?
Well, part of it is he's a nice guy, and two, he's got that Cuban American experience that will help him, particularly with the Cuban Americans. It's not quite ideal in terms of dealing with all Hispanic voters, but he'll do very well among the Cuban Americans, and he would almost certainly win Florida, and the Republicans badly need Florida in order to win the Electoral College. He's got some problems in that a lot of his lifestyle has been financed by a car dealer in South Florida who's a good friend of his, and that's going to create some issues for him as the campaign progresses. But he presents the best challenge or the best story compared to Hillary Clinton. He is a new generation. She is the old generation. And that's a real appealing argument and real appealing message for the Republicans to make.
All right, let me ask you, how do you think Senator Rubio will do head-to-head with Hillary in a debate?
She's going to be more experienced, but he's a fairly bright guy, and the question is going to be how defensive he gets over those problems that he's had in his past. We already know that she's going to get defensive, and so it's going to be a matter of who can make the other one most defensive. She's got the more experience, but we'll have to wait and see.
All right, and former Senator Rick Santorum, he's another nice guy, well-liked. He's in the campaign again. It surprised me, but he's declaring again.
Well, the Republicans have a history of nominating the person who finished second to the nominating process the last time.
True.
And they've done that now for several cycles. And if they follow the same procedure, now Rick Santorum is going to be the nominee. I don't think they're going to go with the same procedure. I think this time you'll see more solidification about one particular conservative person, whoever that might be, and I don't think he's going to be it. He was second place last time because he did better than expected in Iowa, and I don't think he improves in Iowa this time. I think he goes down. And that's going to hurt him.
Right. I don't disagree with that whatsoever. And lastly, I want to round it up with this one. I think probably one of the more electric candidates. Controversial, sure. Love him or hate him type. I would that kind of individual. And that's Donald Trump. Your thoughts on Donald Trump and his candidacy?
Donald Trump will be the first person who will not be elected. He is looking to increase his profile and name identification. He likes being in front of the camera. He's not going to win. Has no shot at it.
All right. Now let's break it down a little bit. Why do you think he has no shot?
He's not a realistic candidate. He is not informed on the issues. He doesn't really know what's going on. He makes very good quick statements that sound good to those who haven't followed anything, but he can't speak on any topic beyond 2 sentences, and you can't run for president with that limited knowledge.
Sure. All right. Scott Walker surprised me, as I don't think he's declared yet, has he? And governor of Wisconsin, I thought he would have declared by now.
Yeah, he probably should have. He's been campaigning
sure he has.
Full scale, so you have to assume that he's still in it. And he's a viable candidate. If the Iowa caucus was held today, I think he would win it. If it's held in January, which is scheduled, he probably will still win it if he's still in it by then. He's close to the area. Lives close to the area, but from the area, he can talk to those people in ways that they understand. He may be the person that the conservatives coalesce behind because he's got the record as governor that they really like. His problem is we don't know how he will handle the pressure of campaigning for a presidential bid. He obviously has won 3 governor's races recently, but that's not the same thing as running for president. And we don't know to what extent he has that ability. You got to remember, he doesn't have a college degree. He doesn't have the educational background that any of the others have. But he seems to have political instincts.
Yeah, he does, and I'm wondering if he's holding off for just trying to prevent political fatigue and trying to declare later, which some candidates do. Wait an awfully long time. Well, Larry, listen, it has been a treat. I cannot tell you how much we appreciate your time and what you bring to the show here at American Heritage Live. We're going to have you back more often as the season progresses, and ask that you make time for us because we need you to keep us off the rocks, if you would.
Be happy to.
Well, thank you. And you've been listening to the voice of Dr. Larry Powell, Professor of Communication Studies at UAB, well-liked and beloved professor there, and also expert on political communications. You'll see him locally on the television, radio shows here in the greater Alabama area, and you can catch him there on his website, too. Larry, thank you again so much.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
All the best. Well, folks, that's another great segment here on American Heritage Live. And when we come back, we'll be rounding out the hour. Don't go away. And also, we want you to check out our website at facebook.com/American Heritage Live for all our archive shows as well. If you're interested in sponsoring the show, I want you to give me a call at 205-223-7653. 223-7653. We're looking to grow the show and are looking for fine business folks in the community who believe in a show like this. Don't go away.
Alexa Likas James with the Well House, and you're listening to American Heritage Live with Jeff DeShazo and Ron Meyer.
Where do you go to order a property title or schedule a closing on a home? Call Jason Ingram, closing agent and account executive with USA Title of Alabama. USA handles property searches statewide and can close loans at your home or work, the agent's office, or a point in between. You'll love their website, where you can monitor your transaction 24 hours a day using their Sure Close technology. And you can also print up documents needed for your closing. At USA, they are dedicated to providing superior service when searching property records, serving as escrow and closing agent, and issuing title insurance for their customers. USA is also a great asset for buyers and sellers and real estate agents that are looking for a flexible partner that can close anywhere. Call Jason Ingram today with USA Title of Alabama at 205-876-1560. 205-876-1560 for your title and closing needs. Or just go to their website at usatitleal.com.
Promise for all your race has made as part of your kingdom. shares with your son. Jesus, your name is alive. Now you're again.
And welcome back into American Heritage Live on a wonderful Sunday morning here at the studios at 97.7 The Peach. I'm your host, Jeff DeShazo, and Ron Meyer, bring us back in on this story of George Soros that you were talking about.
Thanks, Jeff. Well, I wanted to finish off on this and just encourage people to Google. That's a word I never knew before, right? Google that name, George, S-O-R-O-S, George Soros. Do the research out there, and then you form some opinions on your own. I want to transition away from that, Jeff. Now, we spent too much time on that, I think. There's some other areas I did want to share with you and get your input on. This article came out, and it was from the Los Angeles Times, and it was titled, U.S. Become Notably Less Christian, Major Study Finds. And by the way, listeners, when you're getting inundated with all kinds of information, all kinds of junk, all kinds of perverted types of things on the air, and there isn't a real relationship to Jesus Christ, your kids are programming, and you people could be programming yourselves with stuff that can lead you so far away from the Lord. Unless you have a personal, real relationship with the Lord, you're going to question what you believe in after a while because you're having such a good time in sin. A lot of times sin can be fun for you, you think. But you know where it leads to. Anyway, not to get preachy, this study came out, and it's saying now, Jeff, that you're finding a lot of young people are turning from the churches, that there's a reverse in patterns today like we haven't experienced before. And one of those things it brings out in this article, and I wanted to get your reaction to this, one of the causes it claims is that young people today get alienated when they're hearing social conservatism being preached, and especially on this gay marriage issue. A lot of them are beginning to back that issue, and as a result are turning away from the church. Comment?
Yeah, what was that word again? Alienated? What is that?
Alienated. Turned away from.
Alienated.
Oh, okay. This is New York now, Jeff.
No. This is.
Let me rephrase that.
This is the Greater Birmingham area.
Turned off.
This is the Greater Birmingham area. We are not. I correct you. Okay. Not in New York. But I digress.
Yeah, go ahead.
So yeah. All right. So you're asking.
I'm asking you to comment. I'm asking you to comment on the fact that young people are being turned away. A lot of them are backing some of these social issues that are coming to the forefront that Christians are against. Same-sex marriage is one important.
Okay, yeah, I got you on that. Thank you for clarifying the question there.
Thank you for waking up.
Yes, right, thank you. On this comment. All right, why? I think the real question is why. Why is there a left-leaning happening in younger generation? And by the way, let me contest that a little bit. Not in all cases. Mm-hmm. I know myself firsthand, there is a lion's share of millennials and next generation, Generation X, who are coming to the Lord in bucket loads, and they are not voting in left and liberal agendas. However, plenty are, but for this reason, because of who their mentors are, who their influences are, who their coaches are, and that is the leftist, liberal-controlled media. That's the only voice they're hearing. So plus you have the peer pressure. Okay, younger generations want to be accepting. They want to be inclusive. Of course. That would include the gay agenda. It's a natural progression there. So they see it as it's a non-starter. This would be a natural default to support the gay agenda because there's I think a confusion and a mixture concerning what love and acceptance would be. Okay, that doesn't mean endorsement. You follow what I'm saying, Ron?
Yeah.
Love and acceptance does not mean endorsement of behavior. There's two separate things. In other words, I'm going to love an individual, and I'm going to bless them, encourage them, speak life into them, but I'm certainly not endorsing a certain behavior as something I would support, and I can do that, by the way. And all Christians are supported. But in answer to your question, that's why you have younger generation, millennials, Generation Xers, who are supportive by and large, a lot of them, of the gay agenda and some leftist programs. But number one, where they're getting their voice and influences from, and some confusion about some biblical standards. No condemnation there, but that's my answer.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. The numbers, by the way, are, they're roughly 173 million adult Americans identified as Christians when asked last year, right? That's just under 71%. That's down from 78% in 2007. Total U.S. adult population grew by about 8% during that 7-year period. So that's the statistic. And this was taken by, I believe, the Pew Research, which is formidable. It's known research. Just wanted to mention that to you also, Jeff.
All right, what else you got?
Okay, here's a couple of things I wanted you to check in on. This was very encouraging. The IRS is taking steps to stop targeting of conservative groups. Isn't that interesting?
I want to hear more about that because can I look at this?
Sure.
I haven't had a chance to see this. Yeah. All right. IRS takes steps to. This is you got this from the Associated Press. I see. All right. Significant actions to stop agents from targeting political based on their names and policy positions, according to a report issued Thursday by the government watchdog who disclosed the inappropriate activity. Now, get this, Ron.
Go ahead.
2 years ago.
That's right.
So, according to the report by the government watchdog that was reported 2 years ago,
yeah,
they've decided, after much heart searching,
didn't they cut the funding?
To take significant actions. I believe, Ron.
Didn't they cut the funding?
I believe we need to follow the crumbs here.
Yeah.
Let me get you close to the microphone. Right. And folks, so you know, the reason why you may hear a peculiar sound in the microphone, some nasal breathing and other things, is because we're sharing. That's a private inside joke. Don't tickle me. It's because we're sharing one microphone. And so some head turning and breathing might normally be heard on these superior microphones that we're using. But I think we gotta check out the cookie crumb trail. That was a mouthful. The cookie crumb trail. Of course, there's a connection between pulling a funding.
That's right.
And a sudden heart searching. Maybe we ought to start targeting conservative groups.
This has not been a good year for the IRS. You realize
not a banner year.
Ask Lois Lerner about those.
Who is that?
See how soon we forget. They found her emails.
I'd like to give a shout-out to Lois. I believe she's mopping the floors there at the local institution with bars on it. Is that not happening?
No, she's free as a bird. They have come out with, I think, the discovery of more emails that she thought were gone.
Well, I thought they lost the emails.
Yeah, well, they apparently they
magically they reappeared. Isn't it amazing?
It's amazing. Watch out, Hillary.
Well, see, that's a good point. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you think that there's not copies of your emails just because you delete them, don't hold your breath. There are many copies out there, many servers, hackers, people who sent the emails you sent them to. They all have copies. So good luck with that.
Good headline for you also.
Thank you, Johnny.
Yeah. And now, the dire Obamacare threat to New York's hospitals.
Dire?
Dire.
Dire.
How do you pronounce that down here?
Not in New York anymore. Let's get with it now.
Okay, so here's what the hospitals are going to be losing. This is just New York.
Can you not rattle the paper so much?
Forget the paper being rattled. $800 million, right, are going to be cut out of this Obamacare to the health and hospitals in the New York area by 2019.
That was very good reading, Ron.
Now, what about the rest of the country? That's just New York.
Well, I toss it back to you. What do you think?
I think that we're going to start to see more and more of these problems that were forecasted when they ramrodded this legislation through the Congress and the Senate, don't you?
Yeah, I do, unfortunately. And look, in general, Ron, here's my view on anything that the government runs other than the military, okay, and just the federal buildings. They don't do a great job of. I'm sorry, on a federal level, I support less is more concerning government intrusion. And the more programs the government takes over, I mean, look at Medicare and Medicaid. Come on already.
How about the post office?
Yeah, how's that working for you?
How many billions have they lost?
We used to have a superior mail service in this country. But listen, if it was working great, you wouldn't ever have heard of FedEx or UPS. Am I right?
That's right.
Huh? Because why? Free enterprise, competition. Yeah, that's what makes things work. When you have competition and free enterprise, good old American business competition, there you go. Then you have an incentive, keyword incentive, which is what business is all about, to make things better, smarter, more streamlined, give customers a choice. So why would you want, ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you the question, why would you want government running everything? In case here's an exercise, Ron. Just work with me here.
Oh, sure.
All right, go down to the local hardware store, Home Depots and Lowe's. Buy yourself a average-sized ball-peen hammer. Okay, now take that with you right out of the box.
Which hand?
Now go down to the local post office. Go down about 12 noon, 1 o'clock. Okay, go the one downtown. Better yet, of your local city. Wait there. Okay, now. As you wait, and it begins to look like a bread line in the former Soviet Union. The walls are grimy. There's dirt everywhere. It's not clean and kept. When you mill through that line, okay, and all you want is some stamps or to ask a question, and you get frustrated, take out the hammer and strike yourself in the forehead about 3 good times. Whack, whack, whack. If you ever are tempted again to allow government to run everything, okay? And that will solve that delusional impulse. I guarantee you it will work, Ron.
Ball-peen hammer, huh?
Yeah. You know what a ball-peen hammer is, don't you?
I know what a hammer is.
Yeah. Well, ball-peen has a rounded head on it.
Oh. Okay.
It's for working metal and other things. But that's a freebie. I don't charge for that. Go ahead, Ron.
Thank you very much. Okay, so for our listeners out there, that have been following the plight of this state, Alabama, here's some not-so-good news for you from our conservative government that rules this state. And the reason I mention this, Jeff, is, because sometimes people are saying to us, how come we're one-sided? How come all we talk about are this present government, okay? And we talk about the failings of the president of this country in foreign affairs, etc. And we never say much about the Republicans. Well, here's an article for you to ponder, okay? It was in the New York Times recently, and it talks about the plight...
Wait a minute. Let me interrupt you. Yeah. I'm looking, ladies and gentlemen, this is about just radio time. I'm looking at about... a headline here. I'm sorry, I got distracted. Good. We've got someone coming in the studio shortly. I'm reading the headline from the New York Times.
That's my printer now. That's my printer.
Yeah, I know. 5 UA giggle Fritz.
Go ahead, make fun.
Mama Frama UA That's what the headline says.
Thanks, Jeff.
We got to get you another printer. I don't know how you can read that. Hopefully the story is more clear. Go ahead, Ron.
Appreciate that sidetrack, but I'm still going to mention this to you, Jeff. Are you ready? 200.
No, but that's never stopped you before.
Here it comes. We are facing a shortfall of over $260 million in this state.
Go ahead.
All right. So, question. Is this competency by our government in this state? What is the outcome of that shortfall going to be? Higher taxes? A governor ran on the basis of no new taxes during his administration, Jeff. And right now, as you know, we're running to an interesting situation. Up to this point, they've been talking about legalizing gambling in the state of Alabama. I think the Porsche Indians would run it. But the governor is against that. If you remember, the Republicans were against Governor Siegelman when he wanted to put something like that, gambling through. So now we're fixed with this $260 million deficit or shortfall in this state. There's going to be money that's going to be cut back in this state, and it's going to hurt an awful lot of people. What do you feel? How do you feel about that?
Well, not good. Let me just say I'm opposed to any solution involving casinos concerning revenue. And let me just put that out there. I want to be very plainly put. That to me is a shortcut. I understand it can raise revenue, but the corruption, ladies and gentlemen, never forget the tendency for corruption. Sudden riches leads to poverty. That is an old scriptural adage. If you don't believe me, Google it and look it up. Sudden riches leads to ruin. Google it yourself. Look at what happens to those who suddenly win the lottery. Many of them go into ruin quickly. People cannot handle that. Okay, so there's the sideline that the lure and the temptation for sudden riches is wicked. It's ungodly. It's not right. And no one should. Now, I understand everybody wants to win the lottery and they think life is going to be easy. Well, number one, you can pay a heck of a lot of more taxes. About half of it's going to be gone in the giant federal vacuum cleaner. So if you think you're going to take home $300 million, you might get a fraction of that. Number one, people put contracts on your life, try to kill you to get it. Relatives come out of the woodwork trying to suck you dry. I mean, you think I'm making this up? I'm not. Read the stories about what happens to those who come all of a sudden into a lifestyle of that. Very few make it. And besides, many people cannot handle that type of a lifestyle change. But as far as that being a solution, casino gambling as a sudden quick fix-all for revenue, there's too many side roads and there's too many toxic things and too many negative side stories and things that go with that. Plus, the corruption every single time, the corruption that falls into place by lobbyists who are controlling these people and special interest. Don't deceive yourselves. If you don't think that could happen in the state of Alabama, you are dead wrong, as it's happened in the wake of every other state who's gone with casino gambling. Just do your homework, read the stories. It's there, Ron.
We've got a few minutes left here. We've covered an awful lot during this hour. And I'm going to catch you off balance here. I didn't mention this to you or share this with you. I wanted to get your feeling on this. After all that we've discussed, we don't want people to all of a sudden turn around, put on cement shoes, and feel like we're throwing them overboard on a boat.
No, of course not.
So now, based on what we've shared, how would you turn all of this into a prayer for our listeners today?
Well, very easily. As you know, we have a biblical Christian worldview here at American Heritage Live, and that's what we live and breathe. And we're not being preachy, not being religious. We don't believe in that. But, ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to lunch or you're going to exercise or yoga or whatever you're doing on this Sunday morning, let me just encourage you, if life's not working for you, if things are just not falling into place, it's just not gelling. It's just not happening. I understand new days tomorrow and that sort of thing. Let me challenge you, offer some hope to you. We're all about hope in life here. We don't pull any punches about stories, and we tell it like it is, and we don't choose sides. We're encouraging you to pray for your leaders. But you personally, let me encourage you to let the Lord in your life and give him a shot at running things. There's a promise of Scripture that says that if you confess with your mouth and believe in your heart, you will be saved. In other words, confess that you believe that he died on the cross for you and that he was raised from the dead in Romans. That there's a promise of eternal life. This is not all there is, Ron. This is not all there. This present life, there is life beyond the grave. You are going somewhere. You're here. The Scripture says life is but a vapor, just smoke, and it's over and it's gone. Poof, that's it. That's the sum of your life. So wouldn't you want to know where you're going? Those of you who are in other religions that are not Christian, that don't hold that the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is God, the one true God. Let me ask you something. What if you're wrong? There really aren't going to be many virgins for you after you slaughter non-believers of Allah and Muhammad. What if you're dead wrong and you realize you violated God's law? What about you? And by the way, you are. You're breaking God's law. What happens to you? Why don't you allow the Lord, and pray this with me quickly. Lord Jesus, I believe you died on the cross for me, and I'm trusting you to come in my life. I surrender my life to you. Take it all. Forgive me of sin. Wash me clean. I believe in the blood of Jesus. You were raised from the dead and crucified on the cross and then raised from the dead. I surrender my life to you, and I'm going to serve you all of my life. Now, if you prayed that with me, find a local church that preaches the Word of God and teaches that Jesus was crucified and raised from the dead. Ron, we're out of time, and we need a sponsor. We need to mention our fantastic sponsors, as always, on the show. Sandy Manier with Hometown Lenders, Jim King of Hedges and Highways Ministry, Brad Phillips with Homewood Auto Body Specialist, and Jason Ingram with USA Title of Alabama. And I'm a sponsor too, Jeff DeShaza with Keller Williams Realty in Hoover. We'll be back next week, 11 to 12, right here on 97.7 The Peach. Ron, thank you for a great show. Great job as always. And Daniel, we'll see you next time. So long, everybody.